different types of systems in the market right now. So I want to go over with both of them on you to show you the two difference. So what this is actually called a string central inverter system, more or less known as a Sunny Boy or Solar Edge and everything like that. Have you ever put up old Christmas tree lights? Yeah? Okay, so when one bulb goes out, the whole string goes out, right? So just like what that says, a string, it's done in series. So what happens if this panel goes out here in the middle, we're looking at a whole failure of the system. So now your whole system's not working now and you're actually receiving energy from Tico or Duke now. So with that, the biggest things about the default on this one is, this is all DC current coming down to the side of your home in a big metal box that's sitting on the side of your home just humming all day long, right? So what happens with this metal box with 600 volts that's going through this is actually a metal box. If this thing malfunctions, you got DC current right there on that box. If you have kids, neighborhood dogs, cats, anything like that, if they touch that, that will draw them into it and hold them. Have you ever touched electric fence in your life? No? Well, if you ever have, because I have in my past, but it draws you into it. You basically got to be pulled off of it. That's bad news. Every school board that in the other states of New York and New Jersey that we've already been in has actually banned this system on their school board. So if they've actually done that, why would any homeowner would like to have that on their house, correct? Good. So new technology today is actually what's called microinverters. So what happens with this is now we can actually put a microinverter here, and this is when I actually show a little bit of installs on my own installs on my house. So this right here is the microinverter that you see out here. It's a little bit bigger than the double size of a cell phone. It has two functionalities: automatic on-off switch, and it has a switch for DC to AC current. So what we're doing now is creating that AC current right at the panel. So you don't have to worry about the DC current anymore. So what that allows us also to do is run this in parallel, makes these panels work independently, right? So with this other system, when they're not working independently, if you get 50% shade on this by a cloud, you're going to have a 50% production as well. So remember, with them all in series, they work together, only together, not as one, like each one of these are individual. So that allows us to come down the side of your home with an AC conduit or AC current with inside conduit. Also, what we install is a little bit different than any of our other companies out there. We install this white box right here that's simplified as a combiner box for you. So really, truly, it's a Wi-Fi box. So this allows you to go on your computer, watch the efficiency of these panels working and what they're producing every day. So you can actually see how many kilowatts you're creating, how many you're storing, and everything with Tico. That's why Tico, they can't even lie to you. So more or less, here's an electric bill that I use that is my own, and it will show you how it deducts the current or kilowatt hours per day, right? So you can see this happening on my electric bill, as you can imagine watching it on that combiner box on your computer. So also we add a safety switch disconnect. No other company does this. The reason why we do it, because if an electrician or fireman or somebody like that comes out to your house and they have to turn off all the power, we give them an easy access to be able to do that. They cut a bolt here, or if you're home, you unlock it, and they pull this knife switch down. That turns off all power to the solar panel system. So that's an easy way to turn it off and on for you and the fire department. So how much do you know about how net metering really works? How solar works itself, right? So instead of actually talking about it on this drawing, I actually draw it out for you. So what happens is, just like Tico and all the utility companies, they have peak times. So their peak times are between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. during the weekdays, and on the weekends it's 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. During that peak time, they're overcharging you. They're charging you more kilowatt or price per kilowatt at that time, because that's when everybody needs power. So solar has a peak time as well. So the difference in ours versus utility is we don't charge for it. We're drawing in the most radiance of the sun that we can pull during the day. So that's between 10 a.m. and 2:30 afternoon. This actually creates 100% for us. We're going to build a system during the day for you to actually put on your roof, just like this, You know, my daughter actually tries to teach me how to draw 3D, but you know, I still can't do it correctly, so don't laugh at me, please. Yeah, I know. So when you're actually looking at solar during the day, between 10 a.m. and 2:30 is when we can actually produce the most radiance from the sun, which produces the most kilowatts that you're going to need in your home. So what happens on a bigger scale, right? From sunrise to that 10 a.m., from 2:30 to sunset, you're always going to be generating some kind of wattage all the way through your panels. But that helps you build up the extra credits and everything. So what happens on a bigger scale, so let's take your panel from the inside of your garage. We have your meter on the outside. We're going to run down and connect both of them more or less right after the combiner box and the disconnect. So what we're going to do is energize your home during the day with the kilowatts that we're producing from solar, and the extra credits are going to go to the meter. So what happens is that all that excess comes over here to TECO, to the grid, and it's stored for you. The state mandates that they have to be your backup now. So what that does for you is all your extra stuff is stored over here. And then on rainy days, cloudy days, stormy days as well, that's actually being fed back to you by TECO. So because the sun is not out, correct? Great thing about that is it's at no charge to you. Whatever you produce and they store, they have to send back to you at no charge. And that's how you actually do the offset throughout the months, right? So you got summer months and you got winter months. Your summer months is always going to be up here with your kilowatt hours. Then when you get down into the November, December, you're starting to use less and less kilowatt hours, but you're still creating more credits. So what happens is you come down to your winter months and you're storing credits, and we get ready for next year, coming June, July, August, you're starting to lower them, use them credits, right? And now your kilowatts are coming down to your basic average. So you're always going to be storing and receiving and sending, right? So what happens at the end of the year, let's say you built up, just like rollover minutes, right? You build up an extra amount of credits throughout the days and throughout the months. At the end of the year, let's say you had 2 or 3 months worth of kilowatt hours sitting there. If you called TECO and said, TECO, can you do me a favor, cash out half my credits? They will actually send you a check for it. Now you have TECO paying you instead of you paying TECO. Let me pause.